upset and then still finds themselves in semi-finals and finals.
And the way they lose in such a catastrophic manner as well, it's not even like, oh, the other team has had a good day with a bad day. Like, you can see everything's off. It's so bizarre. It's really difficult for me as an analyst to really break it down and explain why it's so different day to day. But today seems like a good one for them. 4-1 up at the moment. They've done some damage there towards Jane. That's always good news. And they're starting to head back towards that B-bomb side by the looks of things. That has been a problem with the short control. Luckily, no CTs pushed off this time. Avangar with 2 players waiting the B-bomb side, maybe 1 now as Krisen actually rotates back towards the A-bomb side.
Edward starts to clear. This will be out toward long. Off angle for Kickard. He's certainly ready. He's the one with the AK. The headshot potential shows as he takes down Edward. It's exactly why that gun was so valuable to hold on to in the last round. And Kickard's the one that they tend to lean toward in terms of explosive potential. You see it on the T sides. He's got entry frags. We saw it on Inferno yesterday. So that's why they put it in his hands rather than Buster holding on to it. They do that even over top of Fitch, who has kill here against Zeus, but also the experience of playing in the Gambit lineup. 7 seconds. This is where Na'Vi struggles. When they don't get executions done in time, there's no more plans. This round's already over. They can't win it. At this point, they have to back out. Avangar's going to win it on time alone, and that's a classic Zeus and Na'Vi issue from as far back as 2016.
Yeah, maybe even further back than that. It's always been such a slow game, and if they don't get the picks they need, they continue to make progress in the map. They're very good at doing the progression. It just takes it's so long and so agonizing to watch sometimes, and if they lose 1 pick, if the bomb goes down, it all falls apart. Sure, they definitely have the potential to hit 2 marvelous shots upon entry, make it look perfect and very structured, but if anything goes wrong for them, it does look a little bit shambolic at times. But either way, they will buy up into this round. It's going to be 3 AK-47s, a couple of pistols there, the CZ and PT-50 for Electronic and Edward respectively. And we'll see Jane still on the AWP and Buster taking a grenade to the face. You can see a bit of a long setup here from Avangar trying to challenge and crossfire, using each other as baits. It's mainly Fitch who will be using his teammate Cricket on the end of the fishing rod here. Here comes a flash. And he should be able to spray them down, no problem here whatsoever. They're all so good at this sort of range. And he's looking for the 3 kills there, delivers on all fronts. The bomb is down, and now a 4 versus 2. Flamey and Electronic to pick up the pieces. I would say that's quite a deadly duo, but just to know, Electronic has no rifle here. Stuck on the pistol, and now smoked out from the bathrooms.
Smokes himself off so as to get away, and he'll bypass Flamey in doing so. Not a lot of residual cash on the Na'Vi side, so a very important round for Avangar. Starting to build back into it. Bomb down but recoverable. They'll intentionally leave that. It's so far out and away from the bomb site. No one close enough to the position to cover it off that it's really not worth leaving a man out there and getting him down to bring it to a 3-on-2. That's a very winnable situation for Na'Vi with 35 seconds. Instead, they'll play passive. They know they've got the advantage. They've got the information. And you can jump behind the van. It seems an odd movement, but strictly to get the vision to see how many players are out toward long.
At this stage, looks like there won't be many options here for Na'Vi. They need to make a choice now. Are they saving the AKs or are they going for this? If they run it right down to the last few seconds and they get attacked after that, they get no money for the next round, so they need to be very careful. It looks like the save will have to be the call at this point. Fitch, just to know, 3 kills to his name with that AUG. Lovely setup. Kicker gets nothing for it, but he does take the attention away from Fitch, and that's what the design was at the start of the round. Nice read from Avangar. They are turning up to this game now as they start to chip away at the finances of Na'Vi. 2 players survived though, and we do know this squad loves to force buy. That's one of their calling cards. They've got so much talent and raw skill within the Na'Vi roster. The Deagles and CZs, 1 AK, 2 AKs, definitely enough, and they're more than happy to give it a bit of a gamble.
Certainly so. Odds starting to get further and further in the way of Na'Vi.
So there's the force buy, just to know. Those 2 AKs, Electronic, Flamey, 2 great fraggers there, joined by the Deagles and CZs of their counterparts, and they're going for a quick push towards long by the looks of things here. No AWP, that's good news for them here. Jane position towards middle actually buys them a bit of space to get close to those bathrooms.
He went for the fast peek. We often see that. Run out toward the bench, but smoked off, flashed away, had to subside. They're playing so aggressive on that A side. You can see Na'Vi time and time again are getting toward the bathrooms, even when they have these pistols, which again is seemingly a difference that Avangar have brought to their default, which is standard formation on the CT side. They're pushing more out towards sandbags, towards short, getting information off players like Buster. You see Kickard out in that position as well. Krisen, good find on Electronic. Through Monster, range game certainly advantage to these pistols, or excuse me, against these pistols, as Zeus takes damage and falls to 27, just trying to recover the position, and the bomb has to flash to try to deter them away, just to be sure he can grab that. Fall back toward it safely. Stairs, they don't quite spot him. James still waiting. Look how passive he's had to go on this AWP, though.
You are right. He misses the shot as well. That would be the cue to actually get in there. Na'Vi not going to take it just yet. They want to see if they can smoke off that position. That actually buys some time over the CTs to rotate through. And you can see this player is sitting behind the smoke. This could be everything. He's just trying to deny the plant at this point.
Yeah, default position gap. He didn't spot it, actually, the first one going through. But he could have taken advantage of. X-ray, just for those of you in the arena that aren't aware, is only on our side. They can't see through that, so he's unable to spot the players on the opposing side. But great position because he denies the default plant position. That had to be the goal. Simple 4 HP. Onto the Deagle after finding 2 kills. Knows there's one more behind the box, but really not much he could ask for in that situation. Under 10 seconds with 2 to find. Not much to work with.
Again, the clock. I feel like when that AWP shot is taken, you've got pistols at the precipice of the bomb site. You really need to be making that call, saying he's missed a shot, swarming. That's what those CZs are there for. They go in first. Even if they trade out a kill, that's enough just to give you the advantage. They just seemed like very apprehensive to go in there. I understand they didn't have a smoke there, but I feel like you missed all the shot. You're that close. You should just be getting in. And they say, take the full ego now. Avangar. They're actually pulling this one back. I didn't think we'd see much of them in this series. I thought Na'Vi would really bounce back today. They had a great start. They were 4-1 up, but now pretty much full eco here. Simple gets the Deagle and Kevlar combo, keeping his money very modest, meaning his AWP prospects going forward aren't that strong.
Simple desperate does actually spray with the Deagle. That's not easy to do. Tends to be a very wild weapon in that situation with recoil, but gets one. And goes down. That's an important kill to find, but they still back out with the advantage as Crizin finds Edward. Buster knows they're inside from Monster on B. Pillar to protect. He's got to be careful not to overextend on this because he's unaware of what's to his right. If they're in Monster, excuse me, Sandbags, that's an awkward exchange. He should have easily won that out. And now Flamey with the Deagle has headshot potential and finds 2. That's going to be a bomb plant for Na'Vi as a result. Fitch is a long way off. Nade won't do much. Flamey's already got the bomb down. AK thankfully picked up in his sick because an MP9 actually wasn't that much of a weapon to work with at range. The AK certainly is, and it shows the potential immediately.
Oh, this is so close, and Fitch will be coming out on top. Electronic there. He was in a difficult spot there, Matt. He had to try and play off the bomb. He was trying to surprise him with the MP9, but as we all know, that SMG at long range really does nothing against armor, and I feel like if he just hit and played off the bomb, he might have had a stronger chance there, but he was just trying to trade out the kill and surprise the fact and hope his teammate did some damage. Unfortunately for him, Fitch was full HP, and that MP9 is pretty useless in that scenario. Will be Avangar taking the lead here, and a tactical pause for them to compose themselves, perhaps.
And rightfully so. That's a close round, considering it was against pistols. Kicker, uncharacteristically, missing a lot of shots to hold off on that B site. We just finished talking about his accuracy. He was spraying on an AUG. I think that that's a skill some people underestimate. I think that it does take some time to practice. We know that when that gun came back into the, I guess, relevancy, into the meta, if you will, a lot of players were spending time in deathmatch for hours just using that weapon.
Yeah. It's difficult to use. It's a versatile weapon, but like you mentioned yesterday, has a slower rate of fire, especially when you're scoped in. It can be difficult to control if you're not used to it, and you can see everyone else lighting it up and looking great. It's not because they're naturally good at it. They've put the hours in to learn the spray patterns and got that muscle memory going.
Yeah, and the scope accentuates recoil. Yes. I know that during games like PUBG, where you're running a 4-time scope and spraying, and that's what a lot of the pros are extremely good at, they'll actually change their axis so that they have a 1.4 vertical sensitivity, so that they don't have crazy aim side to side to find opponents, but when they're actually controlling recoil, it's more sensitive to that. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's necessary in the AUG, but it is certainly a factor.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the zoom sensitivity ratio affects the AUG as well, or just the AUG. I actually don't know.
It's an interesting point as well, yeah, because I think Guardian's the only one.
Now, plenty of AUGs to adjust it.
There are some, but Guardian's probably the most famous one.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's really been using those weapons too often. Buster, flash goes too deep, so it doesn't blind him up. Easily able to dispose of electronic, but the problem is they left Monster open in the meantime. Crizin does respond to get Flamey, but they've lost 2, and they've given up a lot of ground in the site. Both A defensive players have to rotate over, and already with a Molotov, they'll slow that effort down. Thankfully, Kicker does get around, get inside of the site. Simple through the edge of the wall, does find him though.
A chance now. This time, Simple actually has a bit of time on the clock. That's something that's been a massive problem for them. He's certainly capable of winning these rounds. He's up against Crizin and James, his nemesis, who has been fantastic this event with the AWP, but that time is depleting quite rapidly. Needs to recover that bomb and ideally find a kill first before he can get it down. HE available and an opportunity towards the heaven position. He's waiting for mistakes to be made there. The timing, though, really lets him down. You can see the awareness there. He actually looks, and the two position the players are, just the timing you can't really predict to be perfect in every single manner. He knows their tendencies, but can't get the timing.
The weird thing is, I feel like Simple does. He's very self-critical. He said to us actually before this game, he's like, yesterday all those clutches I was super close on, today I'm getting them.
Yeah, like he was. Do you remember on the train? He got 5 kills. He got the ace. And they still lose the round. It's just like, how much more can I do at this point? And he also came very close to an eco clutch on Nuke as well. 1v1 with Freiburg. Missed out on the last bullet there. So he certainly wants to prove himself. He wants those highlight moments. That's what he lives for, is being that superstar and making sure he makes the unbelievable plays a reality.
So tactical this time from Na'Vi. Money starting to be a factor. It is a CT-sided map, so certainly not a position to panic at this point in time as long as they can keep it close. Great start as we saw to go up 4-1. That's the ideal situation when you're on the less favored side, if you will. You want to try and get that pistol. You want to get the momentum early. It just makes life a lot easier. You give yourself more options on how aggressive you have to play later in the half, how much force buying you have to do, and how much you really have to work with that economy, if you will, in that situation.
There's certainly an element of luck involved as well. Like those pistols, sure, they're a lot of skill as well, but it can come down to one simple mistake, something they've done wrong. But Electronic going through his usual flight paths there, trying to get towards that short tunnel, but held off by the utility. I'm not sure that was a smoke on top of it. If it is, he might have to wait a little bit longer, but he pushes through confidently, and they're heading towards B now through Monster.
I thought I saw a cheeky play from Zeus. I'll come back to Crizin traded, stepped wide from the Flames, only got one, but Buster again pushing up. They haven't dealt with that short position. Avangar's certainly winning out the exchanges when they get aggressive most often in that position, so they've got to address that on the Na'Vi side, but they want to pick up the pace. We've seen twice that's cost them quite dearly in this game, and Simple getting 1 for 1 going down leaves us only with Edward. Smoke on the site, but he can't plant that because they'll easily push through, and Kickert's aware that he wants to slide down the ramp. I thought I saw Zeus pull something cheeky. They obviously pulled the timeout. Money was tight. He dropped his AK to throw a decoy, which means it would only make the sound of the pistol.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't give away the fact that they have AKs. It's a pretty desperate sell, and it's pretty obvious it's a decoy within about 3 seconds, but I'm pretty sure that happened at the start of the round. I couldn't spot where he threw it to, though.
I feel like decoys are certainly underrated. It's like the $50 that you can just throw one in. You can actually use that as a flashbang. We used to call that like the heater, and you throw a smoke instead of a flash, and then you peek off it. I don't think that's utilized enough, and certainly to bait out a reaction from CTs and maps like Mirage, you throw a load of decoys over, it looks like a full smoke execution. You can maybe flush out a few grenades from them just before you execute as well. I feel like we'll see a time in the future where decoys are used amazingly well by one team and it'll start to become a thing. But we'll see as this eco, or partial buy I should say, comes through from Na'Vi. We'll see Electronic go down first. And I have to say, this is more the same from Na'Vi. They had a great start. They managed to get great pistols going and followed up with a 4-1 lead. Since the gun runs begin, they tactically look weak again. I'm not really seeing anything that's suggesting they know how to dissect this map completely and make the CTs uncomfortable. And when they trade, it seems so delayed and it's on the fly. It almost feels like they haven't got a routine down on this map for some reason.
Yeah, the holes are showing in the defense. You can see that they're just leaving enough for Avangar to take advantage of. Certainly this time it's out toward long. Simple even goes back to address it. He's aware. I mean, Simple's super aware. He is thinking from the alternate perspective. He is thinking, if I was on that side of the corner, where would I play this? And he was right to slow things down and assume that Kicker was still playing an off and aggressive angle, but can't do anything with it against the AK, that situation when he's got a deagle.
Yeah, an off angle is considered an angle that you wouldn't traditionally play. You haven't got any cover there necessarily. It's not a position they would pre-aim or check. And you're exposing yourself, but at the same time, you're having that element of surprise when your enemy comes around the corner. So yeah, Simple, one of the few players that can definitely predict those sort of scenarios. But just the deagle there, taken down. And it will be Avangar now taking the lead in terms of the odds overall. You can see Na'Vi slipping away. This is for the first map. The odds is a best of 3 game, just to note, provided to you by GG.BET. And we get into the first AWP for Simple in round 13, Matt. And you talk about that selfless decision-making he's presenting. He is one of the world's best AWPers, and now round 13, we're finally seeing it. And maybe shouldn't be dropping AKs for teammates. He should be maybe a little bit more selfish, perhaps.
Tronic already inside of the Flames, but he's revealed that he's there by firing at the wooden wall, trying to get damage through it. Buster may have been able to act on that. In fact, with the door open, he finds Flamey instead. Again, that's a bit careless from Na'Vi, not considering those angles. I thought beating the Molotov, Electronic might actually have the upper hand, but then it was all the other way, and Buster's going to get away with 2 before he falls back.
That's audacious, and that's exactly the mentality you need to beat a team like Na'Vi. A lack of respect. Most teams would take that advantage and fall the hell back, but that's Avangar looking confident as hell, making them look foolish as well. You're pushing a smoke on the CT side. They're going to get so frustrated with that. That, by the book of Counter-Strike, is a bad move to make. That's a bad play. But if you've nailed the shot, make him feel angry to the fact you've done that to him, it can actually just get inside their head and really rile everyone up. So I love
Navi's famous for tilting in situations like that as well. Shin shows, easy shot for Kikkerty. Had the advantage on Edward, who had no idea that he was there on the late peak. So it's now a 5-on-2, 36 seconds left. They still have bomb in their possession. Simple's on and off. We haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, round 13, the first time.
It's incredible the performance he can pull with it too, just barely through the flames. He's able to spot Fitch. That's 1 on the opening. They can isolate Crizzen if they know where he is. If they can find him fast enough. The Molotov will force him wide. Zeus, by design, already has the angle covered off, knows exactly where the head's going to appear. All he has to do is click the button, and it's perfect. Now they're down with the HP as well on Kickert and Buster to getting the bomb planted on 10 seconds and actually giving themselves a chance to win this round. They can steal it back. Positioning's not amazing. Simple still in transition, misses the shot. Off can't recover fast enough. It's all on Zeus. Not typically the man you'd find in a clutch. Gets caught out by Jame on top of the boards. And it's Avangar finding number 9.
Decent effort there by Zeus. Lovely shot as well. As you said, by design, Simple sets him up a smoke towards Graffiti. He Molotovs a player out of barrels, and Zeus comes out and domes him as he enters the bomb site there. 2 more kills found, but he needed that vital one there to really bring Na'Vi back to life. I thought like that particular round would have got a big cheer, would have got everyone back into the swing of things. Zeus with a nice clutch would have got him fired up a bit more as well. But now things getting a bit desperate. Remember, they were 4-1 up. It was kind of like, I was feeling comfortable for Na'Vi at that point. I was like, well, this is going to be them. Much better day. But Avangar, they came here to fight. They are a deadly team. Underrated, I would say, in terms of firepower.
They're one of those teams that, like, we say this, they have the upset potential.
Yeah. Kind
of like Tyloo at times. There's a number of teams that are always, like, on the brink of making it through to playoffs, and they fall 1 game shy, and they crash out of the event, therefore, in group stages, and everyone goes, well, that was a pretty poor performance. They're not making playoffs. That has to be at least the goal. But when you actually look at the scores, all of their games are always close. Double-digit losses, oftentimes 2-1 in best of 3s. They're very, very close to taking that next step.
It's just they're not as notorious as other big names and organizations that have been around for so long, right? They get more of the invites and have more stars within the squad or more social media following. That does contribute to your invites to tournaments and online qualifiers and stuff like that. Even getting into that inner circle, even if you've attended majors before, if you're not a kind of team you can really brand properly and get out there, get everyone excited, you're not going to see them at as many tournaments as you would the likes of Na'Vi, for example.
Certainly, yeah. Jame gets aggressive. Not going to use the bench this time. Trying to play maybe a slightly different angle to catch them off. No smoke down. Did have flames thrown early from the CTs to try and delay the Ts in the stairs, which means he can sit around a little bit longer, hoping they'll re-enter, but elects to fall back instead. Meanwhile, as Na'Vi gets back to guns, they'll slow it down to a default, evaluate both sides of the map, and play off the positioning of Avangar. In other words, sitting back on the T side, seeing if that aggression is going to come through to try and capitalize on the mistakes of the defense early. They've got time to do so. They've got a lot of utility still available to them to execute, to try and use a set play on top of the site when the time comes, but if they can get a pick before that, it would be fantastic. Jame, though, cheeky with the op, gets back in position, and Zeus already had that cleared, had no idea he'd snuck in there in the meantime.
There he comes again. Jame has been the man of the hour for Avangar. He's found the first kill, but it looks like he's in trouble. That position is not ideal. They want to be pushing that smoke and denying him a retreat plan, but it looks like Avangar just... This is the game plan I wanted, so I'm happy in that respect. But again, Na'Vi to see so far removed from all of these rounds. There's no trades coming through. It's very, very well played by Avangar. Nice shots from Jame, good smoke, good backup, but there's just no reaction now. What do they do with this? Again, time ticking away. You've got 30 seconds to find like 2 or 3 kills before you can get near the bomb site. Great utility usage there from the CTs. Simple has to do this all, really. He has to try and find a couple of entrants with the AWP, which is not ideal.
Took a tick of damage from the flames as well, which is an audible cue. That means Kicker should know he's up close, slides back out, finds the gap, finds the angle, finds Simple. Fitch will find Edward. Electronic on his own. 2 kills already. He's got 3 to find. This would be a 1 versus 5 ace. Not looking likely with 7 seconds. And more importantly, if he goes down after the time, which is still possible given that he kills Jame, he gets no money. I think that kill came in just in the nick of time. I'm not sure. We'll have to check scoreboard. Okay, so he still gets the loss bonus for losing the round without a bomb plant. If you go down on the T side afterward, you get no money. Yeah, and I think that's fair enough. The CT, he could have waited like half a second more, but then he risks his own life, right? Sure, it's a nice luxury to have, but throwing away your own weapon for him, not worth. So there we go.
Na'Vi in a lot of trouble here, I have to say. With that great start, they get 4-1 up, but those are a lot of the rounds where you're up against pistols or force buys. Fitch has just bought a shotgun by mistake, I believe, so they've still got money left over. So the M4 will be rebought, but that's cost them a bit. We'll see how this goes down. It's round number 15, so it actually doesn't matter at all. As long as he's got the rifle now, they're fine.
Yeah, which they didn't have a lot of money, so still your point is valid from the last round.
Sure.
But he almost could have justified maybe sitting around that extra second just because you're going to swap it over and restart after round 15.
That's right. That's a good point.
So smoke down, just to note as well, the odds on GG.BET, their live update based on the trends within the game, based on people betting at the time, they've already swapped, in fact, more than they were at the start against Na'Vi. They now have a 4.2 odd. That's pretty ridiculous.
That's a pretty juicy bet. We'll see what happens though. Edward will be opening things up. Finally, some signs of life here from Na'Vi. This round